Welcome. My name is Trish. It is prediction reading time again. So just a little bit of going through what happened in last month's readings and how that all panned out before I get to this month's readings. It started off with some harmful situation related to the Middle East, tension escalating. I said I feel that's Middle East. It did get very, very tense at the start of October. Missiles and all kinds of things. It was very tense. In the cards there it said it had to be downscaled, or they had to downgrade the situation because it was escalating. Now at the moment it feels we're not seeing anything on the news like we were at the beginning of October. Today is the 28th of October and I'm reading for the November predictions. So I do feel it may be downgraded a little bit at the moment, but I feel it was getting quite tense and quite harmful, that situation. Now, next on the list was the disclosure or the sightings. We're getting sightings, and I went into detail with that because I was sitting next to the military card, and I wanted to just make sure I used to clarify to see how the military was connected or what they were trying to tell me, and it did say aircraft. It was related to sightings or aircraft in the sky. Now what I've been seeing is apparently there is a crashed aircraft or crashed something crashed in DC in October. So and the internet's been scrubbed, so but people have been seeing it. I have seen a couple of videos on it, so, and that all happened. So it did say that there was going to be some kind of disclosure, but the military gets involved, or sightings is what I said. So sightings, so aircraft sightings or sightings in the sky, and military is somehow involved. Now I said I don't know if it was actual military sightings, like military craft sightings, and people just were assuming that it was UFOs. I said that was a possibility for sure. So, and it still has not been, because it's been swept under the rug with this DC sightings that many people saw, swept under the rug because never said to be sightings of what kind of aircraft. Is it military aircraft? Was it other kind of aircraft? It was never said. So, but people have been saying, and people have had footage that and recorded that this happened, and this happened at the start of October. So I love those kind of things, and but they don't really come out very often in the predictions. They normally come out in my weird readings. So I am going to do one of those weird readings over on my other channel. My other channel is where I now have all the weird stuff, all the conspiracy stuff, the beautiful messages, and the astrology is all on my other channel, which is Cosmic Trish, Tarot and Astrology. So I will be doing a reading over there on the covered up DC crash. So there was a couple of other things that happened in last month's predictions. One of them was weather, like more water coming in, and I did say when I was reading in August for coming up into September, I said there would be world events or world disasters, natural disasters I should say, because I have said all along that they're not world-ending disasters. They're just normal natural disasters that are more intense than normal. I said that back in August, and I said it would happen from around about middle of September right through into the start of October, which brings us to the two cyclones, so Cyclone Helena, I think it was, and Cyclone Milton, that followed up in early October. So it did come into that reading saying that there was that kind of more water, and I did feel it was water given that we had the solar eclipse in Pisces, with where Neptune was at the time, as well as Saturn. So, and I did kind of feel that was connected to like the water. But on a very basic level on this channel, I try not to read too much astrology over here. On a very basic way of reading and interpreting that message, it was talking about more water coming in. Rising waters was definitely on the cards, and below that was the fires, and I said, okay, well, it's not something heating up, it feels to be more weather related. It's like almost like there'll be in one area there's like floods and rising waters, but then there's fires in another area. So but somebody did message me in the comments and say that there was fires going on somewhere, so it was weather events that were happening, fires fires in one place and rising waters due to the cyclones in the other places. So that all happened as well. Now, a card that kind of came out towards the end of the reading was, I think it was like cyber shutdown, or some kind of shutdown related to cyber. So I wasn't sure. I didn't give that one much airtime. It just kind of flicked out while I was doing a clarifying reading. But today's the 28th of October. We're still in October. In Australia, the 3G network has closed. So they're closing down or shutting down the 3G network in Australia as of today. So we're still in October. That little message came out towards the end of the reading, and it was just very brief. It came out when I was clarifying something, so it was meant to be there, but it wasn't too big, so it was only just a small thing. So that's why I didn't read too much into that one. I think that's all. I'm pretty sure there was one other thing that happened, and one other thing in that reading. I'm just trying to think, and I explained it, but I'm pretty sure that happened. I just cannot remember what it was. Anyway, I'm going to get on to this month's reading, and for the month of November, clearing all the energy from August, September and October, all the tense energy from those months, and we're just going to read into upcoming things for November around the world. I've just got to say that last night, normally the night before I read, so I read on the Monday, the night before I leave my dreams open for any messages that need to come through for today's readings. And last night I picked up something about a celebrity death, or some kind of prominent person dying. I think there was one other thing that came through, but I didn't write it down. It was like I woke up in the middle of the night and I had that kind of thought in my head. So yeah, I just thought I'd mention that. Let's take a look at November. So coming up for November. Okay, first of all, we've got somebody in mainstream news resigning or leaving office. So this could be a journalist or a person on the mainstream news that leaves office. It could also be that somebody in a high position leaves office, and it's all over the mainstream news. So it could be like CEO steps down, and this is what's part of the mainstream news, or being shown that way on the mainstream news. Or it could be actually somebody from mainstream news or mainstream TV resigning. So that's what's coming up here. Now, unexpected result, we're talking about banking, we're talking about currency, we're talking about AI and technology. So in the tech sector, the tech industry, there's an unexpected result, and it's related to money or currency. So funding AI, a new type of Bitcoin or new kind of currency, but it brings an unexpected result. AI tech brings an unexpected result when it comes to banking or currency, is how that reads. Military makes its appearance again. Okay, I'm hearing with that one strong opposition around this. I feel it's related to, now this could be military plane, it could be to do with the sighting, it could be information that comes up around that, but it could also be as somebody leaves office. There's going to be a loser here, maybe, in November. I didn't ask that. Down the bottom here, speaking of the elections, the US elections, we've got changes coming and somebody staying put. So isn't that interesting? It's interesting because they're opposing energies. One is not moving, not budging, not making changes, not willing to move, staying put, digging their heels in, staying put, but changes are coming, is what it says. Changes are coming. Fake news. This is my trump card in this deck. I don't have a trump card, but fake news, he always says fake news. So I do associate this card here with Trump. So I feel this is connected to the election here. There's changes coming. Somebody digs their heels in to stay put. Somebody is staying put, but changes coming. Fake news being either that's fake news or that it's Donald related to Trump. Down here there's something, but there's a planned outcome going on around people transport. This is trains or transportation, but it's transport of people. So and it's been kept quiet, but there's a planned outcome for that. So there's something being planned around the transport of people that they're keeping very quiet at the moment. So I don't know if we'll ever hear that one, or if that's something you'll have to dig for. I'm not sure that we will hear from that. If they're keeping it quiet, then I don't think it's going to be on the mainstream, that one. But mainstream will be that there will be somebody resigning or leaving office. So how many do we have? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we've got this one over here, which doesn't really say much. We've got a positive situation around the surveillance records. Now, there's surveillance records been coming out in my readings for months now. The surveillance records or things being recorded. Surveillance can be things being recorded. I think for this one, it's not really security, it's definitely surveillance, or being surveilled, being recorded. But positive outcome there for that one. There's a positive outcome when it comes to the stuff that's going on about recordings, surveilled recordings. Positive outcome. Also says yes. Let me pull another card for that one. Okay, more information on the surveillance records for the month of November. Okay, so there'll be more in the future. Related to the coercion and the manipulation. Here we're talking, I think, the P. Diddy stuff. So there's more coming up in the future here about the coercion and the manipulation that was involved with the recordings. So more coming on that in the future. Yes, positive. So positive outcome there. Positive outcome may actually be, if you have a look at this photo, may be for victims. Maybe more victims are coming forward. I think that's what that is. See how it's in the light? So shining a light. So more victims are stepping into the light here, I feel, with this one here. Victims, you can see that in this card, stepping into the light. So more victims coming forward regarding the recordings and what was recorded, more coming out around the future, but how there was the level of coercion and manipulation that was involved in that. Okay, let's lay another one on the military plane, see what Pete wants to say about that one. Okay, military plane, shadow ruler, and we're talking about a crisis. So again, it says pandemic or health crisis. You don't have to read every single word there. I'm feeling this is a crisis. So the military shadow ruling to avoid crisis. So playing in the shadows to try and avoid a crisis in the month of November. So let's just pull these away. So that's my 5 predictions for the month of November. Okay, so this deck isn't, this is new, it's just something I'm working on. It's just saying, it's not really programmed yet to do predictions. It's just so in the future, it's saying battles to do with the South battles to do with the South coming up in the future. We've also got here something going on, endings in Antarctica. Gaza. Blame around Gaza and UK in the clear. around to that. Okay, I don't know, these ones are not really a predictions deck, but I just wanted to have a little play with those ones and see what they do. Okay, so that's my 5 predictions for the month of November. I will see you for predictions readings again next month, and we'll have a look and see how many hits we got. Thank you for watching.